Welcome to Choose Your Crew Rock Band. This is the game where you gather your band together and your crew to find out who is the greatest rock band in the world. I'll just show you through the cards. This number up here shows 1 out of 13. It's the first band member out of all 13 band members and crew members. Shows he's the singer, skill of 3, popularity of 3, and hit songs 5. These are used in ego battles, singers versus singers, lead guitarist versus lead guitarist, etc., to determine who is eliminated and who stays in the game. I'll explain that later. Now, the crew members. So you notice up here, they're a crew member, they're not a band member. And each crew member, again with the numbers, adds a skill or a hit or a popularity point to a band member during an ego battle. I'll show you that later. And they also can resolve a magazine headline. This one resolves the Rock Mag headline. This one resolves the Kerbang headline. This one resolves the Crass Rock headline. And I'll show you what that means later on. Stage rigger, lighting techie, pyrotechnics, and the bus driver. Okay, continuing on with the card explanations. This is a gold album. You use it to steal a rival crew member and add +1 hit to one of your band members. This is a backstage pass. It's a performance boost. It adds a performance boost to your bass player. That's +2 skill. Same again, but lead guitarist +3 popularity. Now, this is a session musician wild card. If you're missing a musician, the keyboard player can step in and fulfill the role of any of those musicians. These are magazine headlines. They do damage to a band member during an ego battle. This one has -1 skill, -5 popularity, -2 hits. So basically the lighting techie, this guy here, resolves that headline. So if you have a lighting techie, you can use him to resolve the headline and do away with that damage card entirely. If you don't, then you will have to take off 1 skill, 5 popularity and 2 hits from the band member that's being challenged. Let's say it's the rhythm guitarist here. So he's down to 0 skill, 0 popularity and 0 hits. I'll explain that later. Welcome to Choose Your Crew Rock Band, the demonstration video. So, the aim of the game is to become the best rock band in the world. To start the game, players remove a complete band from the deck of a particular colour. Player 1 is chosen red, so he gets out band members 1 through to 5. Places them on the table in front of him, like so. Player 2 is chosen blue, so he gets out 1 through to 5. The deck is then shuffled and 7 cards are dealt to each player. Okay, pause. To win the game, either opponent must either eliminate the entire band of the other opponent or gather a complete crew, so your 5 band members and 8 crew members, to win the game. Okay, the first thing the player is going to do is have a look at his stats versus his opponent's stats. You can see straight away that his singer is probably a bit more powerful, his opponent's lead guitarist is a little bit more powerful, and rhythm guitarist is probably going to beat him, but his drummer will probably win in a battle. However, he can use magazine headlines to attack his opponent, which he'll do now. In using his turn, he'll attack his opponent with the magazine headline and then declare an ego battle between the two singers. So during his turn, he's allowed to do two things: pick up a card or a number of cards so that his hand, he has 7 cards, and then play a card from his hand. He can either put down a crew member or a backstage pass to boost the skill or popularity of one of his band members. This one is for the rhythm guitarist. He can steal a crew member using a gold album, steal a crew member from a rival and add 1 hit to one of his band members. Or he can use, like he's done now, a magazine headline to launch an attack against his rival. So, the singer versus singer. The opponent is allowed 2 ways to defend himself. If he had a crew member down, he can use a crew member from the table and a card from his hand. He doesn't have a crew member on the table, so he has to rely on just a card from his hand at this moment to defend against this attack. He could boost his skill. Let's see what would happen if he boosted his skill. He's on 5 minus 5, so he'd be on +2, and this singer is on 3, so he'd still lose. These battles are a best of 3. 3 versus 5, 3 versus 1, 5 versus 3. However, this has been attacked with a magazine headline, so he's on 5 minus 5 is 0, 1 minus 1 is 0, 3 minus 3 is 0. He's on 0. So he needs to gain at least 3, 3, and 5 to draw the battle. However, he can, if he has a pyrotechie in his hand, he could have used that to eliminate the magazine headline. He doesn't. He has a stage rigger and a sound mixer and backing singers, so he can't do that either. So he has lost the fight. Both the singer and the magazine headline are discarded, and player 1 wins that particular ego battle, and that's his turn. So player 2 draws as many cards as he needs to get his hand to 7. He's on 7, so that's fine. And he is going to play a crew member, just a sound mixer. It's good to have crew members out so that you can defend better against attacks. He has the option after playing card to launch an ego battle against his opponent, but at this stage he's not going to. So player 1 has his turn, picks up a card to make it up to 7, and he's going to use a magazine headline against his rival's drummer and declare an ego battle between the two drummers. So this drummer now has a skill of 1 minus 3 is minus 2, 5 minus 3 is 2, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So he can clearly win this battle. Now, player 2 has 2 ways to defend against an ego battle. He may play a card from his hand and a card from the table, from his crew members on the table, to defend against this attack. The first thing he's going to do is remove the magazine headline with his backing singers. If you have a look at this magazine headline, it says backing singers blamed. If you have a look at the crew member, resolves rock mag headline. That's the rock mag. Using the backing singers, they get blamed for the scenario, and it resolves that headline. so that's no longer affecting the drummer, and his backing singers add 1 skill. So he's currently 2 skill versus 3, 5 popularity versus 2, and 2 hits versus 4. He can use 1 other card from his hand, from the table, to defend. So he's going to add a skill point in to bring his total skills to 3. 3 versus 3 is a tie. 5 versus 2 he wins, and 2 versus 4 this drummer wins. So the whole thing is a tie. We've got 1 tie, 1 win, 1 win. Out of 3, that's a tie. Therefore, all these cards that he used to defend go in the discard pile, and both the drummers survive the battle. So player 2, further on in the game, has a turn, picks up a keyboard player. The keyboard player can replace any missing musician from his band. He's currently missing the singer. The singer was eliminated in an ego battle earlier in the game, so he can replace that singer with the keyboard player wildcard. The keyboard player now becomes blue, just the same as his first chosen colour, and his stats are fairly high. And that's his turn. He can launch an attack and ego battle against his rival if he wants. Otherwise, his turn is done. Okay, player 1, a little bit further in the game again. Player 1 picks up a bass player backstage pass to add 2 skill. He's going to play this card to boost his bass player and then launch an ego battle against his rival. Again, it's always bass player versus bass player, lead guitarist versus lead guitarist. If this scenario he's got a keyboard player filling in for his singer, then I launch an ego battle against his singer. It has to be against that player, that keyboard player. So bass player versus bass player. 4 skill versus 2, 1 popularity versus 4, and 3 hits versus 1 hit. So this bass player would be eliminated, but he has 2 opportunities to defend himself, 1 from his crew on the table and 1 from his hand. He could instantly use this bass player from his hand as a fill-in musician to cop the damage instead. 3 versus 4, 2 versus 1, and 4. And he would actually win this battle and eliminate the rival. Now, the fill-in musician is discarded after being used because you already have a bass player, so you don't need another one. So he's discarded along with the rival there that was challenging. So we're going to try that battle again, but this time pretend he doesn't have a backup bass player. So if he just had these cards in his hand and these crew members to use, the best he could achieve, or hope to achieve in this battle, is to break even. So 4 versus 2 skill, let's assume this player wins. 4 popularity versus 1, this player wins. And if he can get his hit points up to 3 and break even on the hit points, then it's a tie. So, does he have a crew member with a hit point in his hand? No, but he has a gold album. This is used to steal a rival crew member, so he needs a number 13, so he'll steal a rival 13 from the opponent there, place that into his crew, and add the +1 hit onto his bass player. So he's used a card from his hand, which he's allowed to do to defend, which adds a +1 hit. Now he can use a card from his crew to add another +1 hit, and he'll use the manager there to add a hit. So now we have 4 skill, that's the 2 there, plus the boost, versus 2. This player wins the first round. 4 popularity versus 1, this player wins the second round, and 3 hits versus 3 hits is a tie, so the whole battle is a tie. Therefore, the bass players go back to their bands. The gold album that he has used stays with the bass player until the end, and the manager he used to boost his hit songs has gone to the discard. So back to player 1. It's his turn. He's got 6 cards. He needs 1 to make it up to 7. He draws a lead guitarist, which is great because he's actually missing his lead guitarist. That gets replaced, and that's his turn unless he wishes to declare an ego battle against his rival, which he does not at this stage. Player 2 has his turn. He's only got 5 cards in hand, so he needs to pick up 2 to make it up to 7. This is interesting. He has a lead guitarist that's fairly powerful compared to his opponent's lead guitarist over here. So what he's going to do is launch an ego battle from a filling guitarist from his hand against his rival. He cannot play a magazine headline as well because on his turn he is only allowed to play 1 card from his hand. So that's it, he's launched an ego battle. Now this player has 2 chances to defend. 1 from his crew and 1 from his hand. So to defend against this attack, player 1 needs at least 3 skill to make it a tie. So he can use 1 crew member. He'll use the backing singers. They have +1 skill. And if he has 1 more card from his hand, roadies, +1 skill. So let's break this down so I can show you. +1 skill, +1 skill. There's his original guitarist, and that's the opponent. So now he has 3 skill versus 3, which is a tie. 5 versus 3, he wins. And 5 versus 2, he wins. Tie, win, win. The whole battle is a tie. This guitarist has survived. These crew members that were used in the battle are discarded, and the fill-in musician that was launched at the opponent is discarded as well, as they always are. So it's player 2's turn, and further on in the game they have got the complete band of 5, and they're just missing 1 crew member out of the 8 to win the game. They haven't managed to eliminate all their rivals' band members, but they only need 1 card, so they won't win the game that way, but they have 1 card to collect to win the game by fulfilling all their crew. Fortunately, their rival has the number 8, the roadies, and in his hand this player has a gold album card which says he can steal a rival crew member. Now, this player originally chose red as his colour. Any crew members that he collects that are red cannot be stolen or killed by a rival. They can be used in defence against an ego battle, but they cannot be stolen by a rival. He has a blue because he is allowed to put as many cards as he likes of any particular crew member. He has a blue number 8, so this player is going to use his gold album card to steal that blue number 8, place it in his crew and win the game.